Chef Jeff, the Rogue Chef here. Getting ready to prep 3 small prime ribs with some coffee rub. And I'm gonna start here with the whole rib loin. This one's 24 pounds. So I'm gonna start by just trimming it down a little bit. And you just wanna get this sinew. And you can usually just pull it off. I mean, you can see where it separates. And right in here, just take your knife and run it. You can even take your finger if it pulls off easy enough. You have to remove this because this is very tough. This would be extremely tough, chewy. It would not break down. And then you want to come here on this cap here. You see, you just want to get all of this off because this will make it unedible. And then you got this fat here. You want to trim. You want to keep some of it. You can trim it off. And if you're doing enough of these, or you have enough, you can take this again, and I've done a video on it. You can render this down for some good beef fat. You know, fry some potatoes in. Just use it with your vegetables. Just adds a lot of flavor. It'll make your French fries taste more like the old McDonald's French fries if you're old enough to remember that. Try not to get to any of the meat. You pay a lot of money for a whole loin, but it is actually cheaper in the long run. If you can learn how to break this down, you can make roast, but you could also cut this into steaks, vacuum seal them, freezer, and you have nice ribeyes, the thickness that you want, whenever you want, and it'll save you about $3 a pound. And I like doing it in these foil trays. It just helps keep any juice or anything that comes out. It just keeps your work area a little bit cleaner. And here I'm gonna flip it over, and you can see where the ribs were at each one of these spots. And you wanna just take and get this sinew or connective tissue. You just wanna get this off because this is chewy too. Some people will shave these off. I don't. That's still really good meat. This one was trimmed pretty well. And up here you'll have some cartilage or some fat that you need to take off. This one is done pretty well. So now I'll try to break this, get this as even as possible by just eyeballing it. You don't have to get them this big, but for the purposes that I'm going to be using these for, I need it as big as one as I could get. Depending on how many people you're serving, but like these two, I got this one a little bit small, but this middle one will probably serve 6 people, maybe 7, depending on how thick. If you want them thicker, then you may only get 5 out of here. But for about 7 people out of this middle one, 5 out of the ends. So if you're breaking it down and when you cut it, you see a bigger piece of fat than you want on the tail, you can just cut it down and that'd be a little bit easier. If you're doing steaks, you would just cut it up after you made your steaks. You can cut off or leave as much fat as you want. It's up to your liking. I like to leave a little bit of fat, especially on the tail, because that's all flavor, and that will help transfer some of the seasoning flavor. And then if you want to get that fat out later, you just chill your au jus. The fat will float to the top, and you just take it off in one big piece and then reheat the au jus. So what I'm gonna do here, this is my coffee rub that I developed over time, and I'm just putting it in there. And what you want to do is have one hand that you work with and you put it on the meat, and one hand that's gonna be in the rub so you don't contaminate your rub. And so I just put it thick on the top, thick on the bottom. I don't really do the ends because sometimes you can get it over seasoned. Some people say there's no such thing as over seasoning, but some people in the end that like the end cut don't like it over too much seasoning. So that's why I leave the ends out and don't cover them. We'll do this one same way. And I'll wrap these with plastic, let them sit overnight, and that way the rub will pull some of the moisture out of the meat, and then that will also help develop a better crust and get you better flavor throughout the whole thing. Thanks for watching. Let's go rogue.